Really good. I'm looking forward to sharing with you how to make the most of your Happenista Journal. The Happenista Journal should be with you all now. They've all been posted out. So if you don't have your journal yet, please DM me because I have proof of postage and I can chase up what's happened to it. And I can also check if it's gone to the right place. Hi, Vanessa. Great to see you. So what I'm doing is today I'm talking about our Happenista Journal. Here it is. So for those who have ordered it, this is what it looks like. If it hasn't arrived, do get in touch with me and let me know so I can chase it up for you. So I thought it would be really good today just to walk you through some of the pages of the journal because you might not have come across some of these things before. And I really want you to be able to make the most of it. So the first thing is, as you open it, you can put your details in there. I would recommend you do put some sort of contact detail because it would be awful to lose it because you're planning to have this the whole year and you don't want to lose it. And if you do, you want someone to be able to return it to you. It's going to have a lot of important stuff in there that you'd want to treasure and I think keep after the year. So first thing I want to talk to you is these bullet icons. I'll take this off so you can see them a bit more clearly. Some of you may be familiar with bullet journaling. The idea of bullet journaling is basically that it's much more quicker and it helps you to be more productive. And you can even use different colors. So say you decide to put all of your birthdays in the diary, you can use that icon that you can see, that's the square with a cross through it, and you'll immediately be able to find your birthdays easily. Or say you want to have Sundays for self-care, you put a love heart and it will remind you. Or for those who love to do to-do lists, what you do is you have the square for a to-do, you cross through if you've started it, and if you've done it, then you can color it in fully. And you can create your own bullets if you want to. But this is a really good way of finding things easily. It provides shortcuts really, and the brain loves shortcuts. It makes us feel less exhausted. It really helps us. So it's good for productivity. It's also good for long-term goals that you can put them in and sort of decide what sort of thing they are. And I think try and use color. Try to use felt tip pens or different colored pens because that's also easier to remember. Now, I'm going to skip to the back of the journal to show you. Hi, Laura. I'm going to show you a page in the back of the journal, which is, I'll just find it. So it's 50 things to do in 2021. So as you go through the year, what you might decide is, oh, there are things I want to do and put on my to-do list, but I'm not going to do them this year for whatever reason. Could be financial reasons, could be you haven't got enough time or resources at the moment, you're finishing something, so you'll do it next year. So you can put them in this list, 50 things to do in 2021, and then use those bullets to remind you what they're about. So it might be that you want to attend an event or hold an event. So if you can see here, there's one that's specifically for events. Or it's like you have a financial goal. You could use the euro sign or you could use a pound. It's your choice. So it could be, I want to do more networking, for example, or I want to have attend a new kind of networking event that requires a subscription. I'm going to do that next year. So you put the star next to it so you know it's about networking. So I encourage you to start using the bullets. It's shortcuts. In a way, you think about emojis and that sort of thing. It's that kind of thing. It's a shortcut. I find I use emojis a lot now when I want to show I'm laughing, thumbs up. I love GIFs. It's that kind of thing that really helps us to think about, to have shortcuts in our brain to show what we want to do. Now, there's some really great pages as well to reflect on the year. So this one is your learning from 2019. Doesn't look that clear, so apologies if you can't see it. But of course, a lot of you have the journal, so you'll see what it says. And it says things like, what are the things I want to leave behind in 2019? Perhaps there's some habits that you had that you don't want to have in the new year. or perhaps there was something sad that happened, or a loss that you had, or you want to leave behind being a bit lazy, or whatever it is, or not having enough joy, whatever it is you want to leave behind. So then there's, what do you want to stop doing? What do I see, feel, believe? I think that's quite nice. What do I see around me? How do I feel? What do I believe about 2019? And what can I control? That's really important. What learning was there about the things I can control? Quite often we spend a lot of our time thinking about things that are completely out of our control. That leaves us disempowered, feeling like a victim, feeling unresourceful. But actually, what were you able to control? And what does that tell you about your future and what you want to do in 2020? What pattern do I want to shift? Am I a procrastinator? Am I too much of a people pleaser? What's the pattern that I want to shift? Am I fearful? Is fear holding me back? Do I have great high hopes and big dreams, and then I kind of recoil because actually I'm a bit worried? So what pattern is it that I want to shift? What do I need to continue doing? What progress have I made? What am I really pleased I've started doing and I don't want to fall out of the habit of doing? And what can I use to help me get from where I am now to where I want to be? And I think that's useful to think about, what tools do I have in my armor? Is it support I have? Is it really good books I've read? Websites I go to, mentors, coaches, buddies? So yeah, who are the people who help me? And what do I need right now to get me where I need to go? Maybe I need to sort something out. Maybe I need to actually look at my bank statements and work through them and understand my finances, understand my current situation. Maybe I need to have a conversation with someone. Maybe I need to make a decision about whether this job is right for me. And how am I going to get what I want in 2020? Yeah, how am I going to do that? What do I need to do? And the final question is, what's the first step I can take towards my goal? And that first tiniest step. I often share the example of me signing up to do a half marathon and not really knowing what on earth I was doing. And the first step was to buy trainers. The second step was to put them beside my bed when I woke up in the morning to remind myself, oh my gosh, you're going to have to start running. The third step was to get the clothes I needed to do it. The fourth step was to buy an app so that I could start measuring and doing enough to be able to be ready for that half marathon. So what's your first tiny step? It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It's taking one tiny step at the time. So this is a great reflection to do before 2020 starts. Some really good questions to guide you through. And then there's a gratitude page, and I filled mine. I did this on the train the other day. So a really lovely page to fill all the things that you're grateful for from 2019. And what I did was I looked through my calendar and I just looked at all the months. I looked at events that had happened. I looked at business that had come in. I looked at special times I'd celebrated with my family. And I actually, embraced the feelings that I was feeling, things that I'd started doing that I was proud of and grateful for. The fact that I've been healthy all year, those sorts of things. So family times, the fact that my daughter turned 18, different things that I'm really grateful for. So I filled my gratitude page really easily. I think I could have filled a few more as well. So moving on, there's a great page which is a wheel of life, and some of you may have come across this before. It's a familiar tool. So I'm not angling it quite right, am I? There you are. It's a familiar tool to you. As you can see, it's a circle, and around the circle are different areas: learning and habits, health and self-care, finance and life planning, family, friends, and business networking. And so what the idea is that each of those circles represents a number from 1 to 10. If you're marking it 0 or 1, that means you're really not satisfied in this area in 2019. To 10, you're really satisfied. And this is personal, it doesn't mean we do the same. I might have, completed a PhD in 2019. And so I could say I'm really satisfied with my learning. You may have listened to a couple of podcasts and you still may be very satisfied with your learning. It's completely personal. It's what satisfaction looks like to you. You may have one good friend And that's enough in terms of your family and friends. Someone else may have a huge family and a massive network of friends, and that might be hugely satisfying to them. So it's not about comparing yourself to anybody else. It's about thinking what satisfaction looks like to you. And so what you do is you'd mark it, just say family and friends wise, I'm at a 5. So I'd mark 5. So I'd sort of go here on the circle, and then I'd know where I am. And you do that for each of these areas. And then what you do is you think about how you'd like to be in 2020. And you might be spot on. You might have the level of satisfaction. You might be at a 10, and you might say, well, I'm happy with the satisfaction I've already got, and I want to keep that level of satisfaction. That's fine. You might still think, what do I need to do to keep that level of satisfaction? Or you might think, well, actually, I've got a few bad habits. Yeah, I often have a G&T of an evening. Sometimes that ends up being 5 nights a week. I'd like to break that habit. So I want to develop some new ones. Instead of having a G&T, maybe I'd go out for a walk or whatever it is. And so you just start to think about not just your level of satisfaction where it is now, but also what do I need for 2020 for the goals that I'm aiming for? Well, if I want to write a book, maybe I need to do a bit more learning. Maybe I really need to up my satisfaction in terms of my learning. Or I really want to be retiring in the next few years. Do I need to look a bit more at my finances and my life planning area? Do I need to do some work around that? So you might think, based on your goals, that you particularly need to emphasize your areas of satisfaction in particular times. So I recommend you take some time out, get some time on your own. I know that's not always easy, and just sit down with this and really think about your current level of satisfaction, and really think about what the actions are well, first of all, what your level of satisfaction you want to be. And you might not go from 2 to 10. You might say, if I can go up 1 rung in the next year, I'll be happy with that. So aiming to go up, and then think about what the small actions that you need to do are to get you there. Yeah. And I love the way there are these areas that you can see here where it talks about inspire, connect, support. I'm trying to get it in there, and enable. So you can think about these areas as what they're doing. Yeah, do I need to be inspired to achieve my goals? Do I need to connect with others to achieve my goals? Do I need to find ways to enable myself, or do I need some support? What the resources that I need? So take some time and work this through. And again, I encourage you to do that before the 1st of January. So the next page is, I'm ready to make my year. And this is